And welcome to another session of this particular advanced marketing program. And yesterday we started with a concept which is called customer orientation. And this customer orientation is basically, it's not only about just talking about needs, wants, and demand of a customer, but more than that, because here, when you see the pyramid, where who is important in an organization. So earlier it used to be the top management, middle management, lower management, and then at the bottom, it used to be a customer. But as per the modern business approach, who is first? Instead of top management, it's a customer. And you remember yesterday a model on the both side of the organization who revolve around, who float around its customer. So we have been talking about customer, how to take care, what kind of product, what kind of satisfaction, what kind of experience we should give to our customer so that they remain satisfied. If they remain satisfied, what will happen? They would be loyal to our brand. They would be loyal to our company. And that is possible when you give some kind of satisfaction and give them a kind of experience so that they can talk about your organization. And actually, they will become a brand ambassador of your brand and a brand ambassador of your company. And they will carry forward your name and they will tell others that, hey, I have been using this product and it's so good. It's an overwhelming response. So let us continue our discussion. And thank you very much. A lot of students, they have, thank you very much. A lot of students, they have shared assignment yesterday night. Thank you very much for that. And if those who are not with me on Google Classroom, I request you all, please join me on Google Classroom. So before I proceed further, let me share my screen with all of you. Okay, so good morning and welcome once again. And today, as we carry forward yesterday's discussion, today we will talk about value proposition. So you are not only giving a core product or goods or services to your customer, but it's about feeling. It's about, kind of relationship you have developed over the period of time. Or maybe you have had a good experience with the person who served you while you were in that particular situation or while you were there to get that service. For example, I remember in last class, I had requested you to just, think of two banks. One is SBI, and where, you go and you see a lot of people over there. On the other hand, go maybe ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, Axis Bank. There you will see our scenario is different. So both the banks are offering you banking facility, banking services. But what is important here? The way you serve the customer, the way you talk to your customer. I remember in Citibank in USA, the person who is sitting behind the counter to serve you, especially in banks, they don't have any chair to sit. They should be so vigilant, they should be so attentive that whenever customer approach them, they give them their 100%, right? So here, value proposition would be in terms, it becomes very important when we talk about services. And here in India, when you talk about Indian economy, 60 to 70% of GDP comes from service sector. So now who is important? Because services are invisible by nature. So it's very and it's a it's a inseparable also, I must say. So it would be very difficult. It would be very difficult for us to make you feel that you are using these services. And so who make you feel? The environment, yes, but more than that, the human being, those who are serving you, they make you feel that you are using these services. So here, what value you propose, what value proposition you give to your customer, and ultimately, if their experience is fully satisfied, if their experience is more than enough, right, then it's a kind of you develop, build customer relationship with your customer. So customer themselves will come forward and will say that my experience was excellent. Now I will convey your message to other also. I would be your brand ambassador and will tell many people, see, this is what, this kind of experience I have had. So now it's not only from customer side, it's a responsibility of our organization, it's a responsibility of a company to tell people that, okay, you use these services, you use these goods, you use these products, and we are here to serve you if there is any difficulty, if there is any problem. For example, yesterday, I wanted, because maybe in future there would be a shortage of electricity. You never know, right? So I thought, why not have solar panel at my home? So I'm trying to call a company, and they say that you give us a call and we will be in touch. Our representative would be in touch with you. But for last 1 week, every day I send a message, but no reply. So then I switch over to another company. I talk to them on a phone and they say that if our representative visit your home, we will charge 1,000 rupees, right? And they say that our solar panel is A grade, so the cost would be very high. And on the other side, earlier GST used to be a 5%, now it's a 12%. So it's a costly affair. But it would be a long lasting because you will have a good experience and it will remain, the solar panel you can use for next 25 years. So this is what you need to do. Once you get a response from a customer who is curious to know about your product, if you don't give response, what will happen? It is giving a wrong message to a customer that company is not so good or there is some problem with a company, because now you cannot visit each and every company to get the services. So through email, through WhatsApp, through call, or sometime you go through their website and register yourself, and then they tell you that, okay, our representative would be in touch with you. So now we all use a lot of services. So when we are using these services, what happens? As a company, as a marketer, we make sure that whosoever approach us, we give them a good experience. So good experience start when they approach you. So here, then we'll talk about, so from value proposition to CRM, then we'll talk about customer perceived value, how customer perceive that your goods and services are up to the mark. What are the different parameters? So we'll talk about that. And what is that total package which we should offer to our customer so that we can create a total value. So finally, we'll talk about value proposition, and then we'll talk about total customer satisfaction today. Right, everybody? So before I proceed, let me see if you all are with me. Say yes, why in your chat box so that I can see you all are with me. Okay. Go ahead, everybody. Let me see. I got a 3 response, 4, 6. Go ahead. Let me see, because I can see a 38 student right now. Okay, I can see 2 students in classroom also. So both of you in classroom, have you submitted your assignment? Raise your hand. Right hand if you, okay, great. Thank you very much. Okay, I got 16. Go ahead, everybody, and reply Y in your chat box. I can see 17. Okay, great. So both of you, those you are in the class today, I hope you understand value proposition. And we talk this customer value proposition. We talk about CRM yesterday. So we are carrying forward yesterday discussion. And a lot of example we had, I had given yesterday, and I hope you remember, I had given you an assignment also. A lot of students have given reply, but they are not able to understand what value proposition they would be offering in a case if they go for a startup. Because you all are in your, B school. So I request you all just think of, starting your own venture. So when you start your own venture, basically you provide job, you provide business opportunity, and you understand nitty-gritty of a business when you're supposed to start your own business. So think about it. And if you are going to start your business, what value proposition you will offer to your customer? So that was the main question yesterday. So, okay, thank you, everybody. And I can see one more student in the class. Okay, settle down, everybody in the classroom. Thank you. So start with value proposition. Here you see, you remember yesterday we talked about a car example, and car example, the small car, the smart car suggests that you open your mind to the car that challenge the status quo, right? So status quo is that we want a car, especially in Delhi, a small car, which give you a fuel efficiency, right? This is the status quo. Okay, so here, when we talk about Infiniti, a big brand, big company, what they say, whereas Infiniti makes luxury affordable and BMW promise the ultimate driving machine. So here on the one side, you have one car, which is giving you maximum fuel efficiency. In India, I remember when we used to have just one car, Ambassador. I don't know how many of you have seen Ambassador. And then other car was Fiat Padmini. Just two cars we used to have till 2000. Then Maruti came in 1985, right? And Maruti has done a wonderful job because they brought that small segment with fuel efficiency. And the biggest value proposition offered by Maruti was, if you remember their advertisement, you go to any place in India, maybe a Leh Ladakh, any border, any small village, a corner of India or an extreme side of India, or maybe any village in India, you will see nearby one service station of a Maruti. That was something that if you got any problem with your Maruti car, you will have services. Someone would be there to help you out, or there a service station would be there. So that was something you were very happy, you were very satisfied. Even today, a lot of people buy Maruti because they understand one thing, that if they're stuck somewhere, if they need any services, they can go anywhere and they can find at least one service center of a Maruti. That is one value proposition they had, created. Here you see, now because of middle class, now we have, earlier we used to have either rich class or a lower class. But thanks to privatization, liberalization, what has happened? Lower class people have come to middle class. Those who were having two-wheeler, now they are able to afford four-wheeler. So those who were having four-wheeler, they can afford luxury car, BMW car, these kind of cars. So these cars, they give you a different kind of value proposition. So Infiniti says that we give you a luxury, but with affordable price. On the other hand, BMW promises the ultimate driving machine. So such value propositions differentiate one brand from another. You just think of your mobile phone, right? So when you think of mobile phone, you have two big brand, maybe Samsung or iPhone. They both of them competing with each other. Then you have a series of other mobile phone. So what value proposition they offer you? How do they differentiate themselves? Maybe on the basis of price, one variable. Maybe on the basis of features, second variable. And the third, maybe, I'm not sure because these are two variables, or maybe a design of a phone, right? Nowadays, I have seen what advertisement of Alia Bhatt. I hope you all have seen. I forgot the name. I think it's a Samsung or some other company. So you can fold it and unfold it, screen remain there. So that is something that it's a new design, new feature. So that feature, that proposition, value proposition differentiate you from other brands. So they answer the customer questions. So whatever query you have, whatever issue you have, whatever problem you have, whatever you have in your mind. So tell us, why should I buy your brand rather than a competitor's? So company should tell you that we are offering these kind of benefits to you, so that you should buy our product than to a competitor product. So company must design strong value proposition that give them the greatest advantage in their target market. So I'm not sure about grocery, because whenever we go to a shop, general shop, provisional shop, or a mall, you're not much, you don't think twice when you buy grocery. But now people, when they buy grocery, even they buy rice, sugar. So we have brand, and they have developed such kind of, proposition that if they offer you one unbranded and second the branded product, obviously you will go for branded. Right? In spices also, like MDH, Mavana in sugar, right? So Ashirvad in this flour or atta. So this is what they have created such a picture. They have developed such a perception in customer mind. So this is all proposition that our products are better or different from our customer. So this is possible. This is possible, as we talked yesterday, that you need to develop a relationship with your customer. Relationship would be like bank develop with the customer, that we keep record of your transaction, we keep record of your data or information, right? And here you see, yesterday we talked about the marketing model. The first 3 steps in that marketing model or a process, understanding the marketplace and customer needs. So they talk about only what customer needs, what customer are looking for. Designing a customer-driven market strategy is required because you need to satisfy customer. You need to give a good experience to your customer. So first 3 or 4 points are linked directly or indirectly with the customer. So if you want to keep these 4 points with you, what you need to do, you need to have sub-customer relationship management program. What is the ultimate goal? Because if you have these 3 or 4 steps and you work on that, it will build profitable customer relationship. In what sense? That customer will remain loyal to you, and they will carry forward your message to others that this company is good, product is good, go for this company. So you will have more and more profit. So yesterday we talked about this customer relationship management. Customer relationship management, perhaps the most important concept of modern marketing. Some marketers define it narrowly as a customer data management. So it's not that you collect data and you keep record of that. No, it's not a CRM. CRM is more than that. CRM is in the sense that you remain in touch with your customer. You remain in touch with your customer before customer is going to buy your product, during the process when he or she is buying your product, even post purchase. also whatever scenario you have, whether they want some service from you or if they are not demanding any services, what you can do, you can send a feedback form and request them fill out this feedback form and tell us that, okay, this is this. So we have 3 students in the class. So may I know, have you ever fill out any feedback form for any service or goods? We have 4 students in a class. Have you ever fill out any feedback form or a survey form while you visited a particular mall, or you used a service or goods, or you purchased a particular service or a goods? Raise your hand. I can see 4 students. Okay, thank you. I can see 2 students raise, 3, 4. They all raise. Okay, Pragya, can you unmute your mic and tell me in what was the product or what kind of services you have had and what kind of response they were looking for? Yeah, Pragya.
Sir, like recently I was having this Wi-Fi trouble at my home. So I was shifting a connection and they were delaying it. So this was not a positive feedback, but yes, what I have seen is that people generally tend to complain about the product rather than more than, complimenting it. So there are always more bad reviews of something rather than the positive ones. So the same thing happened with me. The Wi-Fi connection was not happening. So I wrote down a whole feedback about how the executive was tackling the situation and everything.
Okay, great. Thank you. So this is what a lot of time when you talk about services, generally companies don't respond to you. This is very unfortunate, very unfortunate. Now, maybe they are overloaded with the work, one thing, or they haven't developed this customer relationship management. That is the main reason. Generally, what happens, they give you a customer care number and you tried 100 times and there is no response. If there is any response, then they will say that, okay, dial this is the different number to get your services. So you're fed up with that system. So this is not CRM. Instead, you approach a company. Company should have such kind of CRM system that they keep in touch with you. Madam, do you have any problem? Madam, are you happy with our services? Madam, are you looking for some other services, some other facilities? So this is what you, as a company, as a marketer, when you give this kind of touch, when you give this kind of feeling to your customer, customer would be satisfied, as customer will say that I have had a good experience with the organization. So this is what you need to be in touch with your customer. It's not that whenever customer will have some trouble, customer will have some issue, then they should approach you. Before they face any issue, before they find any problem or they are in trouble, company should approach them and find a solution for them. So this is something that CRM should do. CRM narrowly, if you define customer relationship management, that you collect data and analyze this data for some purpose. No, it's not that. CRM means constantly, consistently, you are in touch with your customer. It's like a doctor need to be in touch with patient, that or patient need to be in touch with doctor. So it's a patient responsibility because patient is on the other side and looking for services, and doctor, they remain in demand, right? So we need to create such kind of environment whenever customer or patient, he or she is feeling any trouble or they are in any problem, they can easily approach a doctor or they can easily approach a hospital. So this is what CRM, you should have such kind of wonderful system. And here you see by this definition, it involves managing detailed information about individual customers and carefully. So it's not only, keeping data of individual customer, carefully managing customer touch point. Touch point means that if they are in trouble, you can click them, you can touch them, you can talk to them, and it will give you a maximum customer loyalty, right? Ultimate goal would be maximize customer loyalty. So whenever your customer is in trouble and you touch that point, you help them out. So they will be happy and they will talk to 100 people that, okay, I have had this satisfaction, I have this kind of experience. Now you also can use that. Now let us move further. The concept of customer relationship management, a broader meaning that we had discussed yesterday. So in this broader sense, customer relationship management is the overall process of building and maintaining profitable customer relationship by delivering superior customer value and satisfaction. So this is the ultimate goal of this today discussion and yesterday discussion, that on the one side, you're talking about value proposition. You are offering bundle of benefits in terms of feeling, in terms of understanding your customer, in terms of understanding what they are looking for, and touch points. What are the critical problems your customer have been facing, what they are looking for. So if you develop with your value proposition, on the one side, you develop your value proposition, on the other side, you understand the customer. If you bring these together, it would be customer relationship management. Right? Now we have 4 students in class. May I know what is CRM for you? Now you understand the CRM. Can someone come close to mic and tell me? I can see 4 students in the class, or yeah, please come. Yeah, thank you. Can you use mic, or can I, listen your voice? Please tell me your name first and then you can reply. Yeah, go ahead, please. I can listen to your voice.
So the relationship between customer and company, where you build such relations that company is always in touch with customers and knowing about their services, like how their services have benefited them. Keeping a tab on that.
Okay. So what would be a value proposition for you? Suppose you are looking for services from a particular organization. For example, you are planning to buy a two-wheeler. What value proposition you would be looking for in two-wheeler? Speak loudly. Can you come close to mic?
The value proposition for that would be if that vehicle is in good condition and it gives proper mileage, gives mileage, enough mileage to the customer and whatever their needs are.
Okay. You're not so audible, but it's okay. So when you think of car, when you think of two-wheeler especially, now you see two-wheeler company, they have segmented people or the population differently. They mentioned that why should have boys all the fun? You remember that advertisement. So that means now they have one segment girls. So they target girls also, that now we have created a such kind of two-wheeler or a scooty, I must say, for girls. And see the infield, a bullet, the kind of design, the kind of shape, the kind of value proposition they have offered. Just give me 1 minute. Oh, I'm sorry. So when you think of two-wheeler or a car company, company offer you different kind of value propositions. So when now you think of, in 2000, year 2000, the infield was in trouble at that time. The bullet was in trouble because they used to have just one or two kind of model. Now they started, asking people why they were looking and what kind of features they are looking in infield or a bullet. So a lot of people, they had given their opinion that bullet is like, it's a very huge, very big. Everybody cannot handle it. Everybody cannot drive it. So you need little bit, you change some feature, you bring with different color. Earlier it used to be in black color only. So bring new color with new shape, new design. And you remember it used to be very difficult to start in field. You have to put pressure on it and then create a pressure, and then, it used to get started. So they say that you bring some comfort in this in field, and now you will see the kind of magic for last 1 decade infield has developed, has done. It's so awesome. And the price of infield has gone up. It's so luxury, it's so powerful. All features are there. It's like Harley Davidson. Harley Davidson, you will see in India, it's a very costly, so people don't buy. But in US, European country, it's like infield in India. And when you think of Harley Davidson, it's not only the basic product they are offering, it's an image of a person attached with that particular vehicle. Here in India also, now a lot of people, a lot of youngsters like you people are buying infield. The reason is this, that you feel that our image is somewhere linked with the infield. And when they started, I mean, it has been there for many, many years in India, but they redesigned themselves in year 2000. And now you can see different design, different color, different features of infield available. So for each and every one, you will see, it's like for each and every one, you will have a different kind of infield or a bullet. So let me continue what we have been talking about. So if you have this kind of relationship with your customer, it deals with all aspects of acquiring, keeping, and growing customer. So you will be able to acquire, you will be able to keep your customer, and you will see a lot of customer growth in your organization because of customer relationship management. And relationship building blocks, value and satisfaction. So we have two value blocks when you want to develop a relationship. On the one side, customer value, and on the other side, customer satisfaction. So when you offer different value proposition, you need to check with this value proposition, are your customers satisfied? Or it may be like this. I give you example. Now listen carefully, those who are in the classroom and those who are online also. Long time back, 10 years ago, I was having Centro car. And Centro, had given one advertisement that we will charge 3,500 rupees for servicing your car. So bring your car at dealer or workstation and we'll service it and we'll charge 3,500. So I thought it's a good idea, good value proposition, worth in terms of money. So I went to the workshop nearby my home, and I said that this is my car, please service it. And so I said, how much are you gonna charge? So they said that, let me see. And he said, we'll charge 15,000 rupees. I said, but you have mentioned in your advertisement, can you settle down in the class, everybody? Thank you. Now listen carefully. So I requested them to service my car and they say that we'll charge 15,000 rupees, but the advertisement they had given, it was 3,500. So I said, you have given an advertisement of 3,500, why you are charging 15,000? He said, sir, your car has these problems. So that's why we are charging 15,000 rupees. I said, I need a basic service. So you charge 3,500. I don't want to pay 15,000. So he came out from the workshop, the person who was, checking my car, and he said, sir, you pay us 5,000 rupees, but we will deliver a value of 15,000 rupees. But for 5,000 rupees, we will not give you a bill. Right? So I was very happy. I was very satisfied. I was very satisfied because it's a Centro Hyundai car company, and they are giving me services of 15,000, but they are charging 5,000. But there was some problem that they were not giving me the bill. So here, satisfaction was good because I know the company, I know the dealer, I know the workshop, I know the people. I was satisfied. But tell me, was it a good experience or a bad experience? Tell me, everybody. In the class also, last bench, tell me, was it a good experience or a bad experience? If you were there and you have had similar kind of experience, was it a good experience or a bad experience? Tell me. So I got one reply on chat box. Anshul said it's a bad. Okay, let me see classroom also. Bad experience, why? Okay, may I know who's sitting left side in the classroom at the corner? Tell me, was it a good experience or a bad experience or a good experience?
The bad experience.
Why it was a bad experience?
Because it was not up to the value that a customer deserves.
Okay, but were you satisfied because you are getting 15,000 rupees worth work just for 5,000? Yes, tell me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Anshul Dhingra say because advertisement is up to 3,000 and you pay more plus no bill because you even don't want know what was the charges actually because no. Okay, thank you. So this is what you may be satisfied, but experience may not be so good, right, everybody? So here you need to see this customer value and satisfaction. So the key to building a lasting customer relationship is to create superior customer value and satisfaction. And satisfied customers are more likely to be loyal customers and give the company a larger share of their business, right? So here, it's not only satisfaction, which play a very, very important role. What you need to do, you need to give them a good experience also. So good experience will come when, because satisfaction is somewhere linked with the kind of, services they are offering. But experience will come when people, those who are serving you, the way they behave, the way they behave with you, right? That is very important. As I mentioned, when you come to a bank and when you get services from a bank, the person who is sitting behind the counter, the way they behave with you, they talk to you. It may be generally what happens when I come to SBI, either that person is missing or that, what you call internet connection is missing or that the system is not working. They always say that system is not working, sir. Now, how many times you will visit? So especially I go for my passbook update. So they say, sir, today printer is not working. Second day you come, sir, that person is not here, he's on leave. Third day you go, they will say, sir, system is not working. Just for one small work, you have to go 3 or 4 times. Now, this is about services, but the person, the way they react, the way they behave with you, that play a very, very important role here, right? So if they are not giving you services, that's absolutely fine. but they should give you a good experience. That play a very, very important role. So we focus now today, what actually you perceive. What is this customer perceived value? So consumers are more educated now, right? And informed than ever because of internet, because of WhatsApp, because we have a lot of social media channels, social media marketing we have, and they have the tools to verify companies' claim and seek out superior alternative. How we claim? We see the review on a website, review of a product, and on the basis of a review, you also go for that particular product. And then you compare yourself before you find out or buy any product. You see on a Google, check the review, and then you see that, okay, this one is superior and I should go for it. Now, recently, I started my YouTube channel, one for education, another for traveling. So I was curious to buy, what do you call, camera. I already have DSLR. So I thought that I should go for action camera. So in action camera, you all aware of, there is a one big brand, GoPro. So I was about to buy GoPro. Before I thought that I should go and buy GoPro, I thought that I should watch some YouTube on GoPro. So GoPro 8, GoPro 9, and now you have a GoPro 10. So one fine day, I saw one video which gave you a 360-degree picture, 360-degree experience. So this is like this. If you're going straight, right, GoPro will catch you whatever you show through the screen or through the lenses. But now you have a camera, it will have 4 lenses. So around through 360 degree, whatever area is there, whatever picturization is there, whatever picture is there, that camera will capture it. So who brought that feature in a camera? GoPro itself. But it is called GoPro 360 degree. So I was about to buy that 360-degree GoPro, but someone told me that better than that, there is another camera called Insta360. So how do you know that? See, this all comes from YouTube. It's all comes from Google. So before actually you go and buy, you have been informed well, you all are educated. And now instead of going for GoPro 360, I'm opting for Insta because it's more superior, alternative, best alternative. So how then do they ultimately make choice? So as a blogger, how should I make choice? Here you can see customer tend to be value maximizer. So you compare GoPro 360 and Insta 360 X2 within the bounds of search cost. So on the one side, cost is important, limited knowledge and mobility and income. So these are few variables. I got knowledge that these 2 cameras are there. Mobility, I mean, how should I go there and see this product? So I was trying to buy these Insta and GoPro. So I visited Chroma, right, which is very which is the next building to my office. So, and then someone's told me, see, generally when you think about bloggers, from where they buy this camera. So in Delhi, there is a company called Future Forward. It is in Lajpat Nagar. So I thought I should go to Lajpat Nagar and buy from there instead of buying from Chroma. So I called that guy. His name is Santa, right? Sadaji. So he's so good. I mean, you come to that office, he's a one man and he has got 6 or 7 employees. And together they work. So when you enter into that shop, a Future Forward, Sadaji will come and say that, do you need any help? What you're looking for? So this is what the owner first come to you and talk to you, discuss with you what camera you're looking for, what kind of feature, what kind of price you're looking for. This gave you some confidence. This gave you satisfaction. This gave you experience. So here, customer estimate which offer will deliver the most perceived value and act on it. So as a customer, you know which one is better, which will deliver the most perceived value. And perceived value is what? Perceived value is the difference between the prospective customer evaluation of all benefits and the cost of an offering and the perceived alternative. So here, on the one side, cost may be in terms of psychic cost. Yesterday we discussed monetary cost, right? Traveling cost. So these all cost on the one side and the kind of benefit we are going to get. So here, this is customer perceived value. So as an human being, as an individual, we all have this dilemma, right? What would be the cost and what kind of benefit I am going to get from this particular product? So whenever you bargain on the basis of this benefit and this cost. Remember, you bargain on the basis of this benefit and the cost. You see, your mother is buying vegetable. Whenever a vegetable person comes, when a vendor comes to you, you remember what kind of behavior they have. Or whenever your parents, they're supposed to, commute from one place to another place by rickshaw. So what kind of bargaining take place, you all know. So when vendors who sell sabji or vegetables or fruits, they say that, sir, madam, apple is 150 rupees kilogram. So what would be reply of your mother or father? Can I see a reply in your chat box? Anyone? So will you buy at 150 or will you explain him or her that no, it's not 150. I will pay 100 rupees or 120. Let me see your response, everybody. Reply in chat box. Will you buy at 150 if the vendor say that the apple is 150 per kilogram? Say yes in your chat box if you go for 150 and buy apple at 150. Kabir Raj Singh, can you unmute your mic? Kabir Raj Singh.
Yes, sir.
So have you observed this behavior whenever you buy vegetable or fruits or your parents are buying fruits? So if vendors say it's a 150, will you go for 150 or you will bargain?
Sir, either I will bargain or I will go to another shop.
Another shop, right? So here, what you are looking for a benefit, but on the other side, what kind of cost you can incur. So what is perceived value? Perceived value is the difference between the prospective customer evaluation of all the benefits, right? So sometime, product is so good, you don't bargain. So you remember any product where you don't bargain and say, okay, I don't mind, I go for it. Yeah, Kabir. Any product which you buy without any bargaining?
Sir, only products which have a fixed price.
Or a branded product.
Or a branded product.
Okay. So sometime when you feel that product is good, quality is good, and I would be satisfied because over the period of time, I have had a good experience with the brand or a company. So without any if and but, you go and buy that product, right, everybody? So this is a customer perceived value, how customer perceive a value. And then the total customer value. The total customer value is the perceived monetary value of the bundle of economic, functional and psychological benefits. You remember we discussed a model. So it's a economical, the function of a product, and then finally the psychological benefit customer expect from a given market offerings, right? So here when you talk about any product, basically it's an overall total customer value you are looking for. So the total customer cost is the bundle of cost. So on the one side, value, total value. On the other side, the customer, total customer cost. So perceived value would be the difference between these two, total customer value, and so it would be in terms of value, would be in terms of monetary benefit you're gonna get, economic value you're gonna get, functional value you're gonna get, and psychological benefit you're gonna get. On the other hand, when we talk about cost, customer expect to incur in evaluating, obtaining, using, and disposing of all the given marketing offer, including monetary cost, time cost, energy cost, and psychic cost. So suppose like I mentioned that I was planning to buy Insta360 or GoPro. So why not Chroma? Chroma is next to my office. Why only a Santa Singh in Lajpat Nagar? The brand is future forward. So this is because the bloggers, I'm in touch with few bloggers. So I discussed with them that I'm planning to buy this 360-degree. So they all recommended me one shop, go, and then you see what kind of experience you will have. So that person, he explained you everything, that these are the features, technical know-how, everything he will explain to you. And if you say that, give me a 500 rupees discount, he will say, okay, you go and take this 500 rupees discount. This is something, if you go to Chroma and ask for 500 rupees discount, they will not offer you 500 discount. So it's in terms of monetary time that, okay, time would be secondary for you because you're gonna get good value proposition, right? And it would be out of this monetary time or energy psychic cost that, okay, psychologically you are very happy, you feel proud, you feel good that, okay, I bought this right product. And then delivering high customer value. See, generally this is our role as a marketer, that we should try to find out touch point. We need to try to find out high customer value. What is this high customer value? You can see over here, consumer have verifying degree of loyalty to a specific brand. So we have very loyal customer. Just think your parents. Okay, I gave you my father example. When I was in nursery class till I completed my graduation, I never ever, switch over my Bata shoes. I used to think, whenever I used to think of shoes, it used to be Bata. When I got a job, then I, switch over to another brands. So this was what, you are very loyal because my father have been using it since 1950. So this is what, you are loyal to a specific brand, store or a company. And Bata, it's not that from any branch of a Bata will be buying shoes. No, we used to have one in Kashmiri Gate. So since my childhood, we have been visiting that shop, that particular branch of a Bata, and we used to buy from that shop only. So it's a very specific brand, specific store, specific company. And here you see Oliver define here a loyalty as a deeply held commitment to rebuy or repatronize a preferred product or service in future, despite situational influences and marketing efforts having the potential to cause switching behavior, right? So what you need to do, if you deliver high customer value at any cost, whatever situation occur, no matter what situation is there, people will not switch over. So you need to put your effort so that people remain with you as a loyal customer. So now question to all of you. Can you think of a brand or a product which you feel you are very loyal? You would not like to switch over that brand. All four in the class, one by one, you can come close to mic and tell me. And others in chat box, everybody needs to reply. Let me see your reply, everybody. Yeah. First from class, then I can see. Yeah, tell me.
Apple.
Apple, okay. Sorry?
Cadbury.
Cadbury, thank you. Any other? Okay, Dettol is there. Thank you, Sheetal. Go ahead, everybody, and tell me which brand you feel that you would not like to switch over. Okay, go ahead, everybody. Let me see your response. Sorry? Speak loudly. Okay. Let me see your reflection, everybody. I can see 38 students right now. Which brand you feel you are loyal to and you would not switch over? So I got a one reply from Sheetal based Dettol. What about others? Nykaa. Okay, great. Colgate. Go ahead, everybody. So Purva say Nykaa, Satyam, Colgate. Go ahead, everybody. Let me see your reflection. Okay, Ayush, Tata. Ayush, which Tata? I mean, Tata has Tata Salt, Tata Airlines, TLC, Tata Consultancy Services. Okay, Tata Motors. Thank you. Go ahead, everybody, and write reflection in your chat box, and let me see which product you are very loyal to. So, high customer value brands. So we need to create such kind of atmosphere, such kind of value, so that customer remain loyal to you. So the key to generating high customer loyalty is to deliver high customer value. Michael Lanning, in his Delivering Profitable Value, says that a company must design a competitive, superior value proposition aimed at a specific market segment backed by a superior value delivery system. So it's not only the product which is of high quality, but the way you deliver that product to your customer, it should be also very, very superior, right? And one more chat box. Okay, Toyota Motors. Thank you, Anubhav. Pratap Singh, thank you very much. Okay, so just 5 more minutes. So the value proposition consists of whole cluster of benefits the company promised to deliver. It is more than the core positioning of the offering. Just think of Volvo. Volvo was a company who invented seat belt. So Volvo is also famous for buses, and now they are famous in India for car. But Volvo is known because of seat belt. They invented the concept of seat belt in four-wheeler. So for example, Volvo core positioning has been safety, but the buyer is promised more than just a safe car. Other benefits include a long-lasting car, good service, and a long warranty period. So basically, the value proposition is a statement about the resulting experience customer will gain from the company's market offering and from their relationship with the supplier. The brand must represent a promise about the total experience customer can expect. Whether the promise is kept depend on the company's ability to manage its value delivery system. The value delivery. So here, whatever proposition, whatever value you are offering, it should be attached with the value delivery system. The value delivery system include all experiences the customer will have. So delivery means, value delivery means that before he or she is buying your product, the way company talk to you, the company discuss that particular option, that particular product, particular services with you, right? And then during the buying process, they remain in touch with you even after buying that product. Feedback, or if you have any problem using that product, that will remain, the company will remain with you to sort out the issue or problem. And finally, this is the last slide today, total customer satisfaction. Whether the buyer is satisfied after purchase depend on the offer's performance in relation to buyer expectations. So I have had some expectation from GoPro or Insta that it would be doing some magic, because you are here on a one point of time and you can see surrounding 360-degree with that camera. Oh my, it's so awesome. It's awesome. I mean, nobody can like think like this, that put your camera here and it cover 360-degree view. That is what's awesome. That is more than enough. That is more than my expectation. So in general, satisfaction is a person's feeling of pleasure or disappointment. So it was a great pleasure for my life that I had that camera, I had this kind of video recording, I had this kind of blogging. Or it may be sometime disappointment resulting from comparing a product, perceived value, performance, outcome in relation to. Just give me 1 minute. So on the one side, awesome experience. On the other side, there may be a case where you will have disappointment, and that may be resulting from comparing a product's perceived performance or the performance of a product in terms of outcome or output. So whatever expectation I have had, if outcome or output is not as per the expectation, that would be a biggest disappointment. So if the performance falls short of expectation, the customer is dissatisfied. If the performance matches the expectation, the customer is satisfied. If it is more than that, it would be a kind of experience, wonderful experience. So if the performance exceeds expectation, the customer is highly satisfied or delighted. So in your life, you would be sometimes disappointed and sometimes delighted. But as a marketer, in a marketing, what should be our effort? What should be our role? Our effort and our role should be that we should bring smile on customer face. We should delight our customer. That should be the ultimate goal of customer value, customer satisfaction, customer loyalty, customer experience. And ultimately, this is possible through customer relationship management. So thank you very much. This we already have discussed assignment 1. Maybe today evening, I will give you another assignment. Now this time you will have 3 or 4 days to work on this particular assignment. Okay. So thank you very much for joining today. And if you have any query, you can unmute your mic and you can ask. Thank you very much. Any query? You are welcome.